Good morning, students. Am I audible? Am I audible? If I'm not audible, then I have to close this. Hello. Okay, please inform all to join. Okay. Okay. Anyway, so let's start. So we'll not wait anymore. So let me start. Good morning, students. This is a class of professional elective 3 of 6th semester. That is your rural water supply and on-site sanitation system. Okay. So we are in the last module, and we are about to complete the syllabus. A few lectures are left. Anyway, so we are discussing about solid waste management, okay, since last 2 3 classes. So I hope you have a little idea about what is all about your solid waste, how a waste can be generated, and why it's called solid waste. Why not liquid waste? Why not gaseous waste? So whenever this question arises, why it's called solid waste, the answer will be that the final component of any waste is come in a solid state, either whether it is a gaseous waste or liquid waste. After treatment, uh, it converted into solid waste. So finally, in art, the percentage of solid waste is more compared to the other waste. So we need to manage solid waste. We have to take this very seriously about this. Okay, that's why it's called solid waste management. So I think these things are already clear with you. Next, we have defined different sources of solid waste, right? Like domestic sources. That means a waste can be generated from domestic waste, like food related waste. It can be from an industry. Even under industry, there are different categorization based on the waste generation. If it is a uh, non-hazardous industry, that means a particular industry is not manufacturing or not using a hazardous material, then the particular waste can be treated differently. And if a particular industry is using or generating a hazardous matter, then the particular waste coming from that particular industry is also need a special treatment because it contain pathogenic or harmful matter. Fine. So for depending on the sources of generation, a waste can be treated differently. Okay, that's why different classifications are given, like industrial waste. Okay, agricultural waste is also one of the kind of a major waste. Okay, municipal solid waste. Under municipal solid waste, we have two categorization, like garbage and rubbish. Okay, under garbage, you include the biodegradable waste like food related waste. Under rubbish, you can include all the dry matter like furniture, okay, plastic, all the dry matter you can conclude, which will not, or you can say it take larger time to degrade. Okay, I also give an example like plastic. it required about 1 million year to regeneration. Okay, that's why a special treatment is, we need to go for special treatment for management of the waste. Okay, fine. We have also discussed about different approaches for solid waste disposal. Okay, like burning, recarnation, composting, landfill. Okay, vermicomposting. So all you have different techniques available in present time, then we can adopt for solid waste management. But it also depend on the type of the source, type of the waste, and also techniques available or material available in nearby your area. Okay, so one of the very important, very useful techniques for solid waste management is your composting. So in today's class, we're going to discuss about composting. Okay, composting, even in the name itself, it says compost. It's basically related to decomposed. Okay, that means we go for special treatment of the waste, so that the rate of decomposition can increase. And from the decomposition term, you will know the particular composting is done for biodegradable waste only, because biodegradable waste can only get decomposed. We cannot go for using plastic or other dry matter. Fine. So you can take example of domestic or kitchen waste. Okay. In every household in kitchen, different waste will generate. The waste related to your um, dry foods, or any fruits you can consider, or vegetables. Fine. All the different waste coming from the kitchen you can consider as a um, like a garbage. Basically, we are talking about garbage. Fine. So garbage can be treated uh, in a composting technique. Okay, what is the advantage of composting technique? It will reduce the volume of the waste. Also, the final component of the composting can be used as a fertilizer. You can use in gardening purpose, you can use in agriculture purpose. Even even in the household, you can go for composting. Small scale composting can be, you can also go for composting even in your household. Okay, at the end of the class I will show you one video where a basic procedure is explained, how to start a composting even in your household by yourself. Okay, using a very basic component. Okay, yeah. Okay, someone is waiting in the lobby, so wait. Anyway, chalo. Okay, so let me share my screen first, then we'll discuss. Fine. Okay, is it visible to you? So we are going to discuss about composting. Okay. So basically, by definition, what is composting? So it is a process that works to speed up the natural decay of organic material. Okay. So basically, composting is a technique that you can adopt in order to make biodegradation, the rate of biodegradation faster. Okay. That means it actually also known as natural decay. Okay, or decomposition basically of organic matter, to speed up the natural decay of organic matter by providing the ideal condition for detritus eating organism to thrive. That means detritus, it's another word for garbage, you can say, or waste. Okay, you can also use this term detritus. You can also Google it. It is the same similar definition will come for waste. Okay, that means food waste basically. Okay, or you can say the organic waste. Detritus eating organism. That means there are different bacteria. Okay, which actually live on organic matter. Okay, like worms, like that. Okay, you can take example of worm. So they can we can make such an environment in a composting technique, so that a worm can, or a detritus eating organism can um, grow grow even in the composting, and they go for eating this organic matter. Fine, and they uh, as a result, they give a very fertilized product. You can say the fertilized soil. Okay. Okay. So the end product of this concentrated decomposition process is nutrient-rich soil that can help crop, garden plant, and tree to grow basically. So there is very both advantages. Okay, you can reduce the waste even in your household, and that particular waste can be used as a fertilizer even in your gardening. Right? It's a very effective technique that can be adopted by each household. Okay, this kind of technique must be practiced by each and every household, but the evidence must be given through the each household. Okay, so that every household in a rural area can go for this composting technique, even in their household. Fine. So some important point on composting are highlighted here. So composting is an aerobic method. So regarding aerobic method, I already mentioned you, right? Aerobic and anaerobic. So in aerobic method, the decomposition of waste is occur in the presence of air. Okay, but in case of anaerobic method, uh, no presence of air is um, required. Fine. But composting is an anaerobic method. Aerobic method. Okay, so mind it. So composting method is aerobic method. That means it required presence of air. That means in the composting layer, we need to allow air to pass through it. Okay, so that it increased the rate of decay or rate of decomposition. Fine, so that it increased rate of decomposition. So composting is an aerobic method. That means it requires the presence of air of decomposing organic solid waste. Fine. It can therefore be used to recycle organic material. The process involves decomposition of organic material into humus-like material. That means the final product after composting, that particular material is known as hume basically. Okay, hume like materials, like it basically special word a term can be used for the final result or end product of composting. Okay, you can also search in Google the uh, humus, you will find the same reason. Fine, so it's actually known as humus like material or humus, you can say, known as compost basically, which is a good fertilizer for plant. Fine. So composting is a biological reclamation of organic material by natural decomposition process. For example, decay of fallen leaves in forest. Okay, even in the forest, by natural process of decomposition, leaves falling on the ground, when rain come, it got into the soil to some extent. It get decomposed after certain time period of time. Okay, so decaying of fallen leaves in forest, decay of goods in the forest, animal carcasses, that means the animal bodies, when they go decaying in the soil. Okay, they become they make the soil fertilizer after decomposition. That means it is a process of composting basically. This natural process in uh, return give organic material into the ecosystem. Fine. Okay, so composting of agricultural waste and municipal waste has a long history and is commonly employed to recycle organic matter back into the soil to maintain soil fertility. That means composting is a very old practice, we can say. Okay, and which is used to increase the fertility of the soil via composting method. So composting is seen as an environmentally acceptable method of waste treatment. Right? It is an aerobic method that we have already mentioned, biological process which uses naturally occurring microorganisms to convert biodegradable organic matter into a humus-like product. Fine. So basically, via composting, we create a good environment for the growth of bacteria. Okay, or you can say detritus eating organism, and if the rate of growth of this particular organism increase, that particular organism helps for decomposition of the waste, and the final product The end product it look like a humus-like material, which is very useful for agricultural or gardening purpose because it is a very good fertilizer. Okay, fertile soil basically. Okay, this process destroys the pathogen, convert nitrogen from unstable ammonia to stable organic form, reduces the volume of waste, and improves the nature of the waste. Okay, so the initial waste and the final waste, there is a very vast difference. Okay, even in the appearance, even in the characteristics. So the particular harmful matter, harmful bacteria like pathogen are also killed by via composting. Okay, and the volume of the waste also get reduced. Fine. That means volume of the waste is get reduced via composting. So it is a useful strategy for sustainable recycling of organic waste. So this composting method is come under recycling. So in the previous class, I also mentioned three principles of waste management. Okay, there is a three R: reduce, reuse, and recycle. Okay, so in recycle, what do? You use the waste and convert in a different form and use it. So basically, composting also is come under recycling. Fine. So composting is a successful strategy for sustainable recycling of organic waste. It is an ecological alternative to mass burning and landfilling of municipal solid waste. So regarding mass burning or landfill, we have discussed a little bit, but in coming classes we're going to discuss about landfill very soon. Okay. The composting reduces the volume of waste to dispose to landfill. That means uh, after all technique after all technique adopted on the waste, even after the treatment or even after the use of the waste, some waste may be left behind. The particular waste which have no use, not even reuse, reduce or recycling, you cannot go for it. Then that particular waste can be go to the landfill. Okay, fine. So this is the final, uh, final status of the waste. That means if the particular waste cannot be go for reuse, cannot go for recycle, cannot go for uh, you know reduce, then what you have to do? You have to go for finally you have to go for um, reduce the waste which cannot be recycled or reused by using this landfill approach. Okay, in landfill, I think we have already discussed a little bit about landfill. Under the ground, we have to make a dig. Okay, make a hole of the soil. Then, in the particular pit hole, we have to fill the waste into the landfill, and we have to cover the whole surrounding of the landfill by impervious layer. Okay, so there is a very special approaches how to go for landfill preparation. Okay, so I'm telling you the simplest way how to understand landfill. So by adopting composting, what you what you can achieve? Another achievement is what we can reduce the volume of the waste on the earth. Okay, so indirectly we are reducing the volume of the waste which can be disposed in the landfill. Fine. So via composting, it reduces the volume of the waste to dispose to landfill. Okay, and incarnation. Okay, and recover a useful organic matter for use as a soil amendment. Okay, but along with the advantages, some disadvantage of composting is also be there. The main disadvantage you can consider like no, odor. So odor is little bit you know kind of you can consider as a disadvantage. But anyway, because of the decomposition, it will release gases which odor containing gases. Okay, this is the basic disadvantage of composting. Okay, so if you go for in a domestic composting method, you can also reduce the you can minimize the odor level of the composting by using different approaches. So even in the coming video, I'm going to show you some approaches that can be used even in the household composting approach for to get fertilized soil by using waste. Also, you can reduce some odor. Okay, up to some level. Fine. So you can also go for this the disadvantage of composting basically. Okay, that means another um, like during the composting method, if you are not covering the container, covering the soil not properly, it may leak into the ground, it may reach into the penetrate into the ground, okay, and it may polluted the soil, okay. So that means you can cover, you can go for prepare the composting technique very carefully. Fine. Okay, so composting is one element of an integrated solid waste management strategy that can be applied to mixed municipal solid waste and or to separately collected leaves or art waste and food waste. That means composting basically is done for municipal solid waste, but under municipal solid waste, especially it is go for garbages. That means food related matter or food related waste, or you can say the organic waste or decomposable waste. Okay, composting is a technique can be useful for biodegradable waste basically. Okay, so these all are the advantages of composting. Okay, like it will reduce the waste of the waste of volume of the waste. Okay, so you can also go through this reading in this all the point. Okay, I'll not mention one by one, it is too long. Fine, so you just go through this each and every point, you will understand. Fine. So at the end, now I'm going to show you one video, which in this particular video you will understand how to go for approach adopting a composting technique even in your household, and how to reduce the odor also, okay, by using additional waste like the leaf of neem tree. Okay, fine. So let me first stop my sharing, then again I'll continue with my sharing with our video. Fine. Up to this, is there any doubt related to this class? Anything? If you have any doubt, you can ask me. And if you don't have any doubt, then I'll just go in the video. Okay, so let me first share my screen again. Okay, can you see the screen again? Is it visible? Is it visible or not? Okay. Okay, I'm starting a video. Okay, so first let some anyone please inform me whether the audio is good or not. Okay, I'm starting the video for some certain time. I'll just stop it and I'll ask you some question. Okay.
In the bottom so as to let some air in easily. A shallow tub or tray to
Is it visible? Is it audible? Please do respond in the chat box.
collect the drained water.
Is it audible or not? Please write in chat box. Okay, chalo ठीक है. So I'll start it. I'm starting this video from the start. Okay, and from the beginning. Okay, fine.
How to make organic compost at home. This simple process is smell free and easy to implement. In order to make compost, you simply need a container. For that, select a container. It can be anything from a bucket to a normal dustbin or a garden pot. Make sure to make some holes at the bottom so as to let some air in easily. A shallow tub or tray to collect the drained water. To prepare the most nutrient-rich compost, we will require these ingredients. Eggshells are made out of calcium carbonate. Calcium helps the plant to develop a strong cellular structure. Neem leaves are rich in vitamins, minerals, and enzymes and helps to increase plants' resistance to pest attacks. Garden soil will keep the bad smell away and it will fasten the composting process. Compost will introduce the bacteria and earthworms which will fasten the decomposing process.